Hello, everyone, and happy 2025. Lovely to be here for the first broadcast of the new year. Did everyone have a lovely Christmas and solstice and seasonal holidays and New Year? I do hope so. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm just going to be talking about some of the plans that I've got for 2025. I'm not going to call them New Year's resolutions because we all know how rubbish I am at a New Year's resolution. So these are my intentions for the new year going forward and plans, perhaps to do with the channel, things to do with all sorts of things there. So thank you very much for joining me. I can see lots of people are coming in as we speak. Hello to you, my lovelies. Thank you for popping by. I'd love to know what plans anyone's made. So do put that into the chat if you would like to. What you think you've got planned. Oh, there's lots of orbs. Do you know what? There's a lot of orb activity going on today. I would just say watch this space. It's been the last 5 minutes. It's been like a firework display. So do let me know. But yeah, what are your plans if you have any? Do you make New Year's resolutions? If so, if you want to share what they are, it'd be absolutely wonderful. And I'm just going to kind of just have a catch up. Now, the reason I'm having a catch up, I wasn't going to be putting one up here, doing a live tonight. But then I realized I can't do next Friday because of a rehearsal that I have with our beautiful members of the Anderida Morris team. And I can see B is here as well. And we have our first proper dance out at the end of the month at a beautiful old abbey for Wassail, the big event, and it's our first proper dance. So we haven't had many rehearsals over Christmas, and so we have to have one next Friday, and it will all be perfect, won't it? There's not anything going to be wrong. It's not like I've forgotten anything in 2 weeks. So that's why I won't be here next Friday, but I have got some more events coming up with you. So let's say hello to a few of you. It's lovely to see you here. Sandra, hello, my lovely. So good to see you. I hope you had a good New Year. There's lovely B. Hi, B, my darling. Good to see you. I hope you're all well. Did you go in the sea today? It was lovely, sunny day today. Very cold, but I did think of you. There were a few people swimming in the sea today, and I thought, thought brave. Hello, Mukite Jen, my lovely. Good to see you here. I'm so pleased you can join us. I hope you are very well. Yes, very nice. Thank you. Yeah, we had a bit of a dilemma over Christmas. If you know me or been watching things that are happening around here, I've had a string of things that have gone wrong since the end of November. Boiler, Basil, and all that stuff. We thought we got over it. Christmas Day, we went to put our turkey in the oven, and sat down, and Peter and I did our Christmas things, and we went back a couple of hours later to find out that the oven had broken. We had no oven Christmas Day. So we had a very late dinner, which involved using the slow cooker to defrost and cook a chicken in there. And we had all the rest of it. But yeah, we still haven't got an oven. Got to wait for another week for it to be repaired. But you know what? I'm just determined that 2025 is not going to get to me. That's one of my New Year's resolutions, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Madame Maru, hello to you, my lovely. It's good to see you here. Mary Hernandez Walker, hello, hello, hello. Like the emoji there. Emoji? Who says emoji? Perhaps I'm thinking of the Magi. I'm sorry, everyone. It's going to be one of those kind of days, isn't it? Red Wing, my lovely, good to see you. I hope you are well. Hello, says Red Wing to everybody if people are watching. Excuse me, sipping on my tea there. Anyone else? More movement, more joy, more. Oh, I love that. I'm going to star that one, babe. We're going to come back to that bit in a moment. Yeah. Sandra says loads of orbs. I can see them. Absolutely. Not quite sure how I feel about that. I often find them very, very. It's nice to know these orbs, these energies are around. However, when they tend to, I often find that they're kind of building up to something. So I don't want to be built up to anything. So yeah, but any positive energy here is obviously very welcome, as indeed everyone is here as well. there's a lot of spirit activity. And Bobby showed us like, was there? Oh, I have to go back and watch that one there. That would be fab, Richard. Thank you. Oh, here we go. B, I'm going to star that. I'm going to come back to that bit in a moment. You did go in to see. Fabulous. Yeah, it was pretty awful, but we coped. We coped. The emoji. Sandra, I do remember you actually thought you saw a figure, and you're not the first one to have said that as well. So, yeah, you probably noticed we're taking all the decorations down, so it's all feeling a bit bare. You know, like when you take all your stuff down, it's like, oh my god, I've got so much space, and then you realise, you know, how many more bits of cracks and bits have gone wrong. It's like, oh god, I just wish I put the decorations up anyway. But I do have this thing about January, because I know people get January blues. I don't take all the decorations down. I've left some of the coloured fairy lights up in our hallway because I just love them. And I've also got lots of candles, you can probably see still burning there. I've got the Yankee Christmas candles that I had, and I thought, I'm not putting them away, I'm just going to use them because they just get put away. And you know, 3 or 4 years these we've been, but I'm just going to burn them and enjoy them. That's what it's about, isn't it? I'm not storing them for next year. Who knows what next year might bring? Hopefully some more Yankee candles might be nice. But yeah, I'm a great person for in January, particularly to fight off the January blues, is to light some tea lights and have some candles and bring in the, is it Hygge? The Scandinavians call it, don't they? That kind of pools of light and comfort and blankets and things like that. I think that's really important, particularly if the weather in the UK is about to take a dive into Arctic conditions. So perfect time for snow, ice, candles, for eating, and of course everyone's going back to school, which is what I'm doing next week, back to work. So Christmas is finally over. So let me just get rid of those banners, because that's a big banner to get. I don't quite know why I put such a big banner up there. And again, StreamYard has changed since I've been on there again. They've now got different bits, so different areas. Anyway, never mind. That's just me moaning about it. Yes, Sandra, we didn't have any spirit. Well, actually, I have to tell you something a bit weird that happened Christmas Day, actually. This was really strange. So our oven packed up, and as I said, we'd had a pretty awful few weeks where just was like flat as a pancake. I was like, not much else feels like it could go wrong. But I always say you should never say that, because there's always something worse that can happen, isn't there? There's always obviously there's a lot of people a lot worse off. So I do try and rein myself in on those kind of thoughts. But after Christmas Day, I was a bit like, what? I feel like, you know, anyone got my back here. Anyway, we turned all the lights off, went to bed Christmas night. So we had all the lights, I don't know if you remember them, across the mantelpiece, the fairy lights and everything. We turned it all off, and I always go in and check, because when I've had candles burning, that I haven't forgotten to blow any out. So I turn all the lights off and then just stick my head in the door just to check that there's no lights on and no candles still flickering before I go to the bedroom, which is what I did. And then I suddenly thought, oh, I haven't turned the heating down because it was a bit hot, and the controls are in the lounge here. So I just came back into the lounge, and on the mantelpiece we have our initials R and P, which are got little lights in them. And I haven't had them on all Christmas, actually, because the batteries I didn't think were working in there. Certainly hadn't had them on Christmas Day. Certainly the room was dark when I left. When I came back in to check the heating, the R with my initial was lit up with these little lights in it, like somebody had flicked the switch on the back. And I said to Peter, have you done that? He went, no, I haven't been in the lounge. So it's a little message from someone above that they are looking out for us. And that brought quite a lot of nice, warm comfort feeling there. So that's a little story there. That was nice for Christmas Day when everything else seemed to be going pretty wrong. And but you know, it's a new year, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Ange is here. Hello, Ange. How are you doing? So nice that you could be here, having my tea and listening in for now. Lovely, lovely. Good to see you here. Mary Fernandez says OCD. Absolutely. That is so cool. Absolutely. So my New Year's resolution. So as I said, I don't make New Year's resolutions. I tend to do them at different Sabbaths. I tend to set myself little goals between the 6-8 weeks of each Sabbath, and that's when I do it. And I'm normally pretty good at doing those. I often find that this time of the year is a difficult time, what with the light and going back to work and pre-Christmas and all that stuff that's going on, post-Christmas, I should say. That I just find it absolutely, it's just the worst time for me to be setting up resolutions. So I don't even use the word resolution. I just make them intentions. But because Christmas was so bloody awful, I'm going to be brutally honest, I just thought I've got to do something here to change this one up. And as I entered 2025, I did my usual beautiful routine, which is to open the back door, the back window in my case. I don't have a back door, and push 2024 out. And yeah, absolutely, that one was gone out the window. And then we go to the front door and you invite 2025 in. And having said, I actually feel like the energies have really shifted since I've done that. And I decided that I was going to set myself just a few intentions, and I'm going to share those ones with you. So my plans for 2025 is basically to do stuff or do things or agree to do things or do anything that actually serves me in a positive way or for my greater good. So whenever I'm going to do something or I'm not sure about doing it, I'm going to go back to the brass roots of the question and ask, by me doing this, is it likely to bring on something that will better myself or improve myself or bring me on my journey in a more positive way? And if the answer is yes, then I go ahead and do it. If the answer I believe is no, and it's going to be quite an intuitive feeling as well, then I'm not going to do it, or perhaps postpone it or do it for something else. But that is the way that I'm entering 2025, is really thinking about only doing the things that serve my purpose for a higher, better energy. That's what it is. And at the moment, that seems to be working quite well. And I'm excited for what this might bring. Sandra doesn't use the word revolution either. No. Sorry, I'm really sorry. My chair is super squeaky tonight, so I do apologize. Oh, Jen, it was a really lovely moment. It was a bit like, oh, we might have actually just got to the end of this. So yeah, but that was really nice to have that message there. And I swear to you, I hadn't done much drinking of alcohol on Christmas Day, so it wasn't that. But it was nice to have a little bit of a message there coming through. You defenestrated the old year. Absolutely. Chuck it out the back window. I'm a great believer in that, and I know that a lot of countries, a lot of customs are similar to that one. I don't quite do the first full footing that happens in Scotland, where you have to have people coming in with gifts and stuff like that. We tend to have a quiet New Year anyway, so yeah. But definitely chuck out the old and boot it out. Absolutely boot it out and get on and invite the new one in. Hi, Elliot. It's so good to see you here. I haven't seen you for a long time. How are you? I'm really pleased to see you here. Good to see you on the third day of 2025. Third day. I know. Where's it gone? B, no. You are not getting me in that water until perhaps the summer, and I say perhaps the summer, till it warms up. I am absolutely not doing that. You can ask me, I don't mind, but it's not happening. All right, let's see. B, you did put in some of your New Year's resolutions. So more movement, more joy. My intentions is for more movement and joy. I absolutely love that one. And getting outside, do you know what I've realized in the past few days? I've been walking every day. Just how good it is, particularly when you've been cooped up indoors, perhaps of the weather, perhaps you've been with people and not been able to get out and go for a walk. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize how much it affected my mental health. So I absolutely hear you. So any time you want to go for a walk, I'm happy to join you, but I'm not jumping in the sea. That's what I'm telling you there. All right. Hello, 21 who's also watching. Nice to see you here. And if you're watching this on playback, you're very welcome. So that was one of the New Year's resolution called New Year's resolutions. The other one is for gratefulness. And this is something I practiced last year, and I felt that it served me in a good way. And that was when I went to bed, and in that moment when you're about to fall asleep, or you perhaps you're going to be asleep in the next few minutes or so, I would just stop and just run through my mind and find one or two things that I was grateful for in that day. And that was really good, because those are really setting in positive ideas and positive emotions. And that's quite nice to go to sleep on that state, rather than perhaps going to bed stressed or overtired, or any of the other ways that you might go to bed and sort of not get proper sleep because of it. Oh, there's another orb just gone there. So that was one of the things that I did practice, was gratitude and being grateful, and just expressing to the universe what I'm grateful for. And it can be the smallest of things. It could be seeing the sun. We haven't seen the sun in the UK, well, at least this part of the UK, for many weeks. So just having a nice sunny day with blue skies was wonderful. To have some cold weather was nice. Gratitude for being with people, for something that went well. Excuse me, police car going past there. So yeah, that's what I try and do, and I kind of lost that in the quagmire of the end of 2024. I couldn't find much to pull myself out of that one. And so that's something that I'm going to be doing, perhaps even writing it down, because I have decided I'm going to be doing a little bit more journaling. Now, I've said many times before, I am not a journaler. I don't actually mind doing it. It's just the time, and I'm very conscious of a lot of things that I do being quite time hungry. And so that is just another thing. I don't want to be having to be journaling every day, almost like a diary. I'm going to just be doing it when I feel I have the need to be doing it. And there's going to be more information coming about that at the end of the later on as well. So more orbs. There you go. I did say Maruta says, I detest being cold. I absolutely understand that. It's funny because when I was younger, I used to absolutely love hot weather. Being really, really hot, like super hot, going up to hot places in the summer. And as I've got older, I don't enjoy it quite so much now. I have now a much lower threshold when it comes to heat. And with that, shifted down to the lower part of the temperature as well. So I can understand if people are exposed to long periods of cold, why that would just be awful. And of course, everything that you have to do to wrap up and keep your house warm and everything, I totally get that. But I suppose in the south coast of the UK here, it can be literally, it was about 12 degrees Celsius the other day. We've had such a warm a week of weather, and then it switches. I mean, the UK's like that; it changes literally on a dice roll. So it's quite nice to actually have some what I call seasonal weather, where you can actually walk out and actually need to wrap up. I mean, the other day I went for a walk and actually took my coat off because it was that warm. So it's for me, it's about the seasons, and feeling cold at this time of the year is part of the seasonal process. And if I don't have that, then again, it can play a little bit havoc with rhythms and bits and pieces that are going on there. So, but I totally get why people might not like being cold. B says appreciation brings a massive shift. It's one of 5 love skills. I absolutely love that. And yeah, just being more appreciative, and particularly this time of year when people have been running around, we've all been running around pretty frazzled by what's been happening, going on, and at the end of the year, what's been a pretty hideous year for a lot of people. Finding that moment of pause, of silence to actually give appreciation is a wonderful thing. And Sandra says, I'm going to be doing more journaling too. Or we could be journal buddies. Have you bought a new journal? That's the question, Sandra. have you bought a new journal for doing it? Now, I have about 12 journals, all of which have never been written in. And I'm one of those people that cannot start a new journal. I can't do it. The first page just leaves me cold. So I just often just go and buy another one a year later and think I'm going to practice again. Twigs Tarot, hello to you. Happy New Year to you. It's lovely seeing you here. I hope you're well. It's been a very chilly summer here. Oh, you're in New Zealand. Oh, of course, it's New Year. Yeah, I've noticed that, was it somebody I saw in New Zealand having some really odd weather there. So, well, I hope it sorts itself out and that you get a good summer. So, but it's lovely to see you here. Thank you for being here. B says, speaking of gratitude, appreciation, 5 big A's: aspect of radical love, attention, affection, acceptance, appreciation, and accord with the deepest needs and wishes. That is absolutely wonderful. I shall go back and write that one down, or perhaps you could write it down, give it to me when I see you next. But I really like the aspects of radical love: attention, affection, acceptance, appreciation, and accord. Or accordion, perhaps just play an accordion if you wanted to there. So, yeah, but thank you for adding that. That's absolutely wonderful. 14 degrees Celsius on Christmas Day. Oh, wow. These orbs are flashing around, aren't they? Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the energies in it. What should it be? That's the question. I'm not quite sure what the temperature would be normally on about this time of year. So, so let us know so I can refer back to that one there. But that sounds quite cold. In fact, that's not far off where we were actually a couple of days ago. Sandra says, I prefer a nice, cold, sunny day. Yes, me too. Me too. Me too. I wasn't complaining. It just seems odd. I've got to bought a new one. And of course, you need to buy a new pen to go with that new journal, Sandra. Yeah. Here's Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Do what I did, start a sketchbook, start on the second page. I've done that. In fact, I leave a couple of pages now. And I've also discovered something else this week, which is really useful, because I'm dreadful at that first big blank page. And I don't like to draw anything in there because I never quite know where I'm going with the journal. But what I did do is bought loads of witchy mythological stickers from Temu for a couple of quid. Bought loads of them. And actually, I stuck a couple of those on when I decided what I was going to be writing about. And it started to fill the space, the gap, with a couple of stickers based on what you were thinking about. And that really helped triggered ideas coming through. So I do recommend that if you're a bit like me and you can't start a blank page. Recommendation there. It's good to see you here anyway, Debbie. I hope you are well and had a good holidays. And says, I started a journal on New Year's Day. My first one. Congratulations. I never know what to write, so just putting anything down. Yeah. And that's why this is where this live has come out of, actually, me just writing down my intentions for the year. And I thought, yeah, let's talk about it and get it out there. And Twix loves bees, 5 A's. Thank you for sharing. It should have been 28 to 30. Yeah, that is cold, isn't it? Almost half the temperature. Well, I hope it does pick itself up for you if that's what you want. It's normally too hot on Christmas. I think, you see, that just does my head in, the whole idea of Christmas Day being hot. It's just so what I'm not used to. I would love to experience it once, but I do hope you had a really lovely Christmas anyway. Right, Maru says, Racine from Almoon 513 recommended The Wild Unknown Project Archetypes as her best oracle in professional readings. I got it and noticed it's full of snakes. Chinese snake year coming up. Indeed it is. Do you know what? It's really odd when things appear in decks or symbols, signs come up. And I'm going to be talking about that in a minute. So remind me of that one there. But snakes are really important because it's about transformation, isn't it? So yeah. don't encourage me to buy. I got another one for Christmas. I was gifted another Lamy pen, which is beautiful. Actually, that's not the one. It's blue shiny one. This is just a plain blue one, but it's exactly the same as this one. Do love me a Lamy pen. Oh, fountain pen and new journal. Well, it's about, not to say treating yourself, it's about setting yourself up. If you're going to use it, use it. It's when you find at the end of the year you've got an empty journal and you haven't picked up your fountain pen. That's when it's a waste, isn't it? But if I've got a fountain pen, I love writing with fountain pens so much that it actually makes me write more. And I enjoy writing. And I'm a bit careful about my writing as well. It's really neatens my writing up. I was glad to see the back of 2025. And I know you've had such a hard one, haven't it? Not a good year, especially. I'm so sorry that all of that's happened. And I just hope that 2025 really brings you some changes that are positive there. They are good, aren't they? Interestingly, now I'm going to talk about this in a second. I've got lots to talk about. I should have made a list really, but you guys are adding in such wonderful things that this is really interesting. The 5A is a wonderful book I read this year and should be a Bible for anyone in a relationship, by David Richo, How to Be an Adult in Relationship, the 5 Keys of Mindful Loving. Wow. There you go. Not endorsing it, but if you feel like that's going to be good for you, go and get yourself a copy. Hello, Garnet. Good to see you. I hope you are well. And Lottie here, Spirit, Hudson Spirit, is here as well. So many lovely people. Thank you for turning up and putting your comments in. I really appreciate it. Oh, Lamy Safaris on my go-go. Yes, you can't beat a Lamy pen. Nice pen. Thank you. You can't beat a fountain pen. Oh, I collect Navula pens. Is that? I love Lamy pens. Please don't get me started on other pens. I can't. No, I've got 5 Lamy pens, all with different inks in there. And just to do people's head in, the ink doesn't match the colour of the pen. So although this is a blue pen, it's got green ink in it. And that just hurts people when I do that. People are like, how can you do that? But it's the way I rock. Fountain pens are lovely to write with. They certainly are. So we're talking, hello to everyone who's joined us. We're talking about plans for 2025, how we're not setting ourselves resolutions, but we are just setting ourselves intentions. One is about gratitude and expressing and reflecting on gratitude and being things you've been grateful for. My main one this year is things that serve me for positive way or for my greater good. So whenever I'm stuck with a quandary, I'm not quite sure what to do, and it can be just the littlest things. Should I go for a walk or should I read a book? Which one? I'm just going to ask her, which one right now would serve me of greater good? That's an answer there. And that's how the way I'm going to do it. Now, what I am not going to do, I'm going to tell you this. Now, this is a bit of a strange thing to be saying on social media. What I am not going to be doing in 2025 is to get bogged down in social media. And I'm going to use the word witch talk, but it's not necessarily witch talk. It's YouTube, it's Facebook, it's Instagram. It is all this stuff that I absolutely have been, what's the word? Well, covered over. Just feel like I'm drowning in all these videos, all this stuff about you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that. That's my altar, that's my space. This is what my practice is. This is what you need to do. It's full moon, blow some cinnamon, all of that stuff. You know what I'm talking about. And I don't mean to be grumpy at all. Whilst I appreciate that people make these videos, and I know it is the kind of thing that sucks me in like a vacuous black hole. And what it has done in 2024 is it has really made me feel isolated. It's really made me very, very confused. And more importantly, when it comes to understanding my craft and my spiritual belief, it's made me feel incredibly inadequate because I can't keep up with it. And all things seem to be pulling in different directions. And so I'm going to stop all these, and I say the word witch talk, these very short videos, and I'm just going to be super selective over what I choose to watch, what is actually, again, serving me for my greater purpose, because I feel like I can be drowning in this. As a person who makes content, I can say that, I think, as well. You know, I'm just very cautious in getting information from social media that is not best supporting me. It's a great platform for people, whether you're starting out or experienced or doing all sorts of things. But it is something that can really, if you're not careful, bog you down, saturate you. And in my experience, it made me feel like what I was doing was totally inadequate, confused, and actually made me almost want to give it all up, because I'm like, I can never going to understand this. I'm never going to be like these people. I'm never going to understand why I have to do this, or, you know, perhaps I should be doing this, and this, you know, and it was just driving me absolutely crazy. And so 2025 in many ways is a massive reset for me, because what I have done, as far as I've gone with druidry, with shamanic work, with all sorts of bits and pieces, I am doing a massive reset. Now, that's not to say I've given it up. I haven't. But I have suddenly realized where my main practice needs to be. And it has been staring me in the face for the best part of 20, 30, 40 years, but I never put the pieces together. And that is that I need to work with water, and I need to be working with the sea. And B, this is not an invite to go dipping myself in it, I promise you that. But I have realized, and it came like a bolt out of the blue over Christmas, and I will make a full video about it. But my realization is that I need to be working with the energies of the sea, the energies of the water, energies of the tides. And everything that I've tried to do so far has been building to that, but it hasn't been successful. And so, rather beautifully, and as the universe does tend to do, is that there aren't that many videos or social media stuff out there about working with the oceans and working with water and working with shells and sand and grounding and cleansing that way. It's just not a big thing out there. So therefore, I am not going to be bogged down by all this stuff. It's all brand new. There's very few books about it out there as well. Not what I say, there are books out there, but there's not as much as you would be if you were doing Wicca or anything else like that on there. So it's a really exciting kind of realization and a restart. But with it, I am going to find my own pathway. I am not going to be looking what other people are up to. I am going to just be doing this intuitively and what feels right. And I'm also going to be doing it with the stuff that I have around me. So I am not going to be buying lots of crystals and shells in from around the world. It's going to be stuff that I find locally at the beach, or driftwood, or water, or it's all the stuff there. And so it's going to be quite, I'm not going to say low scale, because it's all stuff that I can source naturally to my area. And I think that that is been the perfect way to move into 2025. So that's the really exciting thing to share with you. And it wasn't until I kind of thought about this witch talk social media, I don't say the word toxicity, should I? I don't know if that's the case. But that was not serving me very, very well, and was actually making everything that I was thinking compounded and confused. That I've actually got this chance to go, hang on a moment, I've been doing it all wrong anyway. Not doing it all wrong, but I need to stop doing that, and I now need to do this pathway. Yes, I'm still going to do druidry. Yes, I'm still going to do the shamanism, because that all fits together really nicely with the working with the oceans and the waters and the tides and the moon. But there's other bits and pieces I'm going to have to park up for a little while and perhaps bring those in at another time. So that's the most exciting bit of news. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a while, but I'm going to catch up with some of people. Where have I got to? We're talking about fountain pens. Oh, narwhal pens. Narwhal things of the sea. Look at that. And everyone's saying hello to one another. Mary Hernandez Walkers. Yes, it's a little overwhelming. It can be, and I social media is one of the things I would like to try and cut my time down with. I watched it was a fascinating documentary back at the beginning of December about students, 13-year-olds who had their phones taken off them for 21 days and decided to go no phones or social media for 21 days. And it was fascinating what they discovered about it. And adults did it as well. And I'm interested in reading some more stuff about what having a phone can do and how easy it is to access. But that's another story there on that one there. Hello, Kathy. I am so pleased to see you. I don't think anyone should say that you need to do this, that, or that. It's what works for you. Absolutely. It's that whole thing, though, isn't it? Of about when you enter a new territory, like you can easily find videos or stuff on social media that draws you. Oh, that's interesting, and within 3 or 4 clicks, the algorithm's kicked in and it's taking you off down there. And before you know it, for me personally, it just makes me feel really inadequate. And that, I just think, oh, I'm far too old to be picking this up. I should have been doing this 30 years ago, and I'm just inadequate at it. And it's just very, very negative. My reaction to it is very negative. And so I'm really pleased to be in a situation where I haven't got lots of social media stuff to have to look at and rely on for this. And yeah, I'm interested in finding my pathway with the help of a few bits and pieces, but not to spend hours and hours and hours looking at what other people are doing before I decide what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what I want to do first and decide on that and work on that and move with that and go forward with that. And then perhaps I might make some videos about it. And then perhaps I might see how whether anyone else has had these kind of experiences or what. But I'm going to leave it that way rather than the other way around to it. And I'm interested to see how that would be the case. Ellie says, so true, Richie. I do not know what I want for me anymore. It is also overwhelming. I think a lot of people that come into these spaces find things overwhelming like this. And unfortunately, we think that we have a beautiful community here that all look out for one another and who are so kind and supportive. But in many ways, we are the kind of people that can easily get taken into all these, feel like we're spreading ourselves too thin. I know I certainly have. I came in to do, start this channel to do tarot. And before you know it, I've got into druidry and shamanic practices and crystals, and it's so easy to do. And it's a beautiful thing to do. But for me, have very little self-control. I then feel like I've spread myself so thin that I'm not actually doing any of it correctly. So there we go. Maruta says, I'm too lazy to be which I accept that about myself. I love it. Oh, fantastic. Twix Tower, I'm really sorry I don't know your name. You can pop that one in if that's okay. That'd be lovely to know who you are, but that's absolutely fine. Your craft can be low energy and low accessory. Absolutely. Anne says, I don't use social media much and don't feel the need to follow anyone else's practice. To me, you do what is good for you. And I would love to have that. That's what I would like to get to. At the moment, it wasn't. I felt like I was trying to be, try and be everybody else all into one, and it just obviously didn't fit. A lazy is a social construct. Absolutely. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being lazy, and it's a word that is bandied around as a negative thing. And actually, it has been proved that, or stillness, people could sometimes call it stillness, that fact of not actually doing anything is actually very, very beneficial. Exactly, Ange. I agree, says Sandra. Yes, I'm a fire sign, but actually I have much more connection to the earth. Yeah. And B says, we are going to in the sea again together this year, sooner rather than later. I can see it already. I will just cave, you know that, but yeah. I would love to live near the sea, says Ange. I'm a water sign and definitely relate to it. See, I'm an earth sign, but I never realised, as I say, there's just been for my whole life, and I've always talked about the sea. Like I said, I'm not going to go into too much depth at the moment about this, but it was only at Christmas I made the connections, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That it felt like 15, 20 pieces of the jigsaw all suddenly fitted together and went, oh, it was all there all the time, but you never saw it. Yeah. Oh, that sounds like a lovely way to deepen your practices. Yeah. Sometimes we need a restart, don't we? Absolutely. I love that idea. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Sandra. I'm water heavy in my chart. Pisces, very curious about water magic. Yeah. And again, there's probably a lot of videos out there. I'm not going to go looking for them. I might make my own, though, as I said before we go down that road there. Gwen or Gwenny. Hello, Gwenny. Good to see you. Thank you for sharing that one there. Kathy says, I used to be in a few witchy groups on Facebook, but realised there were too many judgy opinions insisting on the way or the highway. It made me feel inadequate. Yes. Now, I have enjoyed this year a channel called Grumpy Old Crone, who has made me laugh about the whole thing. It might not be for everyone. She is, as the title suggests, she's very grumpy about a lot of things that happen in this circle or the circle of things, but it's quite often grumpy about the new stuff. Grumpy Old Crone, I would recommend her if you just wanted to have a laugh out loud moment. You might not particularly take to the channel, but I would recommend giving her a watch if you just need to have a little bit of a cheer up, because it does always make me laugh and smile when I watch her channel. Garnet says The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, A Spiritual Path to High Creativity. Good book I've just acquired. Wonderful. Thank you for the recommendation. Oh, there you go. Grumpy Old Crone. It's so funny. I'm glad that you agree, Sandra. I actually just went, yes, somebody's actually saying what I've been thinking for so long. And Redwing loves Grumpy Old Crone too. Marita says, my friend Mary from Crystalline Dimension published an essay about ice magic on her Facebook page. Wow. That sounds fantastic. Again, I'm not going to go looking until, of course, we've made it. So I've started doing it then. So to tie in with this idea of this kind of change or this new direction, again, it's really interesting. You know, I belong to a Morris dancing group. Again, you might want to call it the universe calling it all together. We're Andera de Border Morris. B, as you know, has been here and has helped me so much with it all. But our colours are black, but our main colour, our other colours are teal, like the colour of the sea, and a sandy colour. So even in the tatters, even in the costume colours that we wear, representing the sea. In fact, I might even start to kind of get like little bits of what looks like material to make it look like seaweed. I think I might need to update my costume so it looks a bit more nautical. I don't know. Now there is one thing about this, is I've been thinking about this. I don't like the term sea witch. So I'm not going to use that term. I don't like that term because it just conjures up Little Mermaid, doesn't it? And as much as I love Ursula as a character, absolutely love Ursula, I think she could, you know, when it comes to Sea Witch, she's got that title. So I'm going to have to think up a good title for myself that isn't a Sea Witch. Garnet says, I've done sword dancing. Wow. Oh, I'd love to see that. I'd love to have a go at that one there. And Granny says, embellishments are magical. Absolutely. Sea Mage. I like that one there. I thought about a maritime magi. Seahorses are around the UK. Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, yeah, I can't use seahorse. I can't explain why I need to. I can't do it. But seahorses, yeah, no, no. Sorry, I can't comment any more about that one. But yes, there's. I mean, we have a lot of other things. We have not blue whales. Humpback whales are often around the coast of Scotland and stuff like that one. Um, um, yeah, I'm going to have to do some work with the actual animals, and at the moment, it's working with the stones and the sand at the moment. There, this is the thing about the sea is that I absolutely love it at any time of the year. In fact, I think I prefer the sea in the winter time when it's a bit more rougher and colder and a bit more abandoned, a bit more desolate. But I also love the energy of the summer when, people are around and the energy of the seas there. And I think it's fascinating. Anyway, yeah, the males do look after the babies. I know. Don't they have a little pouch, don't they, in the front? I tell you what I really like, actually. I think they are a form of a seahorse, but they're called a leafy sea dragon. It's basically a seahorse that somebody stretched out and covered in its grown stuff to make it look like seaweed. They are amazing, absolutely amazing. Maruchas, I have one carved out of gold sheen obsidian. Oh, wow. Well, this is the other thing is that I'm not going to buy lots of nautical stuff. The reason being is that Eastbourne, where I live, is right by the coast, and there are lots of shops that sell an awful lot of nautical themed stuff. Some of which is nice and some of which is not. And I've never been a person to turn my house into that kind of sea cabin kind of look. I know a lot of people around here do, and I absolutely love the aesthetic, but where we actually live, it wouldn't fit quite right with the vibe of the house. And so I don't go in for lots of it. Having said that, my bathroom is nautical blue and green, and it's got lighthouse picture, and it's got lots of shells around. So the bathroom, perfect, of course, with the water, may be the right place to be putting it, I suppose. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to be very careful with not just collecting loads of stones, and I'm very much going to be like, right, this is important, and then when it's no longer needed, to return it back to the ocean. That's why I want to do everything local so that it can go back when it's not required or when it's being used, or including herbs and plants and stuff like that, and seaweed, bits and pieces around. So it's all going to be locally sourced so that it can be put back when it's not required. And that would make me very happy because I'm very conscious of, over the years, buying lots of crystals and stuff from all around the world, not quite sure about the ethnicity of them being mined or created or dug out of the ground. So it's time to calm it down, I think, for me, to make sure that I know where it's come from and it can be returned when it's needed to. Kathy says, I think the Wichita community can sometimes make you feel that you have to label your practice. Precisely. Even though quite often they start off by saying, do not label yourself. That's what you actually do. And then the algorithm that kicks in will also do that. It will start, you like to learn about hedge witchery or green witchery or kitchen, whatever it is, and it will then take you off down and then, yes, I'm that. And the worst is when you have to do one of those, or I don't know if anyone's ever seen them, like a tick box. Are you this? Are you this? And you are therefore, this witch. No. It's yeah, I've got a lot of opinions about that there, so no. I'm going to keep those ones quiet for the time being. Anne says, my hubby does metal detecting, and I keep saying I want to go to the beach. So fingers crossed, North Wales is due a visit. So, North Wales. Oh, yeah, North Wales. Do you know what I absolutely love is sea glass? Now, I know this is a really good thing that glass bottles are getting recycled, because, yes, they should be getting recycled and certainly should not be getting thrown in the sea. The only downside to this is, of course, there's going to be less glass in the ocean. A good thing. therefore less sea glass. That makes me sad. I wonder if you can make sea glass like you can when you polish stones, like in the tumble stone things. I wonder if you can do that for glass. Oh, there's a thought. Oh, come on. Loving it. A Merman Witcher. Love it. Ecological witchcraft. Thank you. Thank you. I was just very, very aware of it. And simple, just keeping it simple, keeping it local, keeping it simple, keeping it cheap. Let's be honest. Oh, Romney Marsh near you. Edible frogs there and famous, very famous sheep. Very for the Romney. What are they called? They're called Romney Marsh. What a special name. Winchelsea. I absolutely love Winchelsea. In fact, all the beaches around here are amazing. Quite stony. There are bits of sand in there, but quite. And then all of a sudden, you'll get to somewhere further along the coast, sort of more central, and it'll turn much more sandy. Can you believe it? There is a place in the UK called Sandy Balls. I've never been to Sandy Balls, but perhaps I should visit Sandy Balls this year. And, kick it all off, launch it all. Garnet says I'm going to Porthmadog in May, camper van. I don't know where that is, but I've seen pictures of the Welsh coastline, and it looks stunning, as indeed is the Northumberland coastline, as indeed anywhere around Cornwall. I have to say, it's stunning. And even places like Lyme Regis or the big seaside towns, absolutely stunning, fantastic. Debbie says, yes, you can tumble glass. Well, there you go. I was talking about I only talked about sea glass last night. It's the blue bits of sea glass. It just makes my heart sing. It really does. There you go, camper van. I kind of want to get a camper van. We went camping. We got a tent this year. So I'm hoping that when we go camping again, when the weather improves in the summer, we can go and find some lovely campsites near the sea. We went to one on the Isle of Wight, which was lovely. Which is the stones you find on beaches with ones through hagstones. Is that the one? Now, I happened to find a hagstone today, which I'm wearing around here. Now, this is actually not a stone. It's very hard clay. Basically, where we have the beach where we are, it's pebble, but it's also chalk. There's a lot of where the South Downs is, it's chalk. So there's a lot of stones and a lot of kind of gunk and mud gets kind of squashed out of the rock and it goes hard. However, I rather sadly chipped it, which is a bit of a shame. But I thought I'm going to put that around around there. That's my first bit of treasure with a nice big piece of quartz. So there you go. And answers Anglesey is normally a place we go. Love it. Never been. Absolutely love it. But this year I really want to pay attention to going to more beaches and just getting the vibe of them. That would be hilariously appropriate. Lottie B said Northumberland is one of my favourite places, so peaceful by the sea. Yeah. And quite wild as well, some of it. The Prisoner film before Porthmadog. Oh, I know where you're talking. All those lovely parts around there. Absolutely stunning. I can't pronounce that. Porthmiriam, that's right, isn't it? I'm only approximately 2 hours from Anglesey. You live in Cheshire. That's great, isn't it? Well, that's nice because 2 hours. You see, this is the crazy thing. I'm just thinking too. I couldn't live 2 hours away from the sea. I am so used to being by the sea. All my life, literally, I'm 20 minutes walk away from it. And that's how I like it. I can just like to down. I need to go to the sea and just walk down the seafront. Absolutely love it. Right, how are we doing? So I'm going to show you a few decks now. So my other thing is I'm going to show you one of the decks that I'm going to be using. So no surprise, quite good. We talked about it, and I think I showed this the other time I was on here. The Sirena Tarot. Excuse me, itchy nose, which is perfect. Oh, Are you going to be kind to me, light? No, you're not going to be kind to me. It's a bit reflective. So I did show this on my other live I did not too long ago, but the Sirena Tarot, it's mermaids and humans. And so this is going to be the deck that I'm going to be using, one of the decks I'm going to be using this year. So 2025, this is it. So I've already talked about being thrifty with the practice. I'm going to be thrifty with my decks. I say this every year. I'm not buying any more decks. But the truth of the matter is, I can't promise myself that. But what I can do is have a sort out of the stuff that I have never used. So the other intention is to start to sift through the decks. It's not my intention to actually keep all this as a collection. It's a case of I'm going to see whether some of the stuff that I have put away in boxes and forgotten about, whether it needs to be used, whether it works, or if not, whether it needs to move on. An example of which is this tarot. It's the Lighthouse Tarot. It was a Kickstarter. And I really thought I would absolutely love it. And when I looked at on Kickstarter, oh, sorry, the camera is not going to be kind to this. The ring light is far too bright on here. See if I can find you some better images. They're all lighthouses. I don't think it's going to show up particularly well. No, it's not. So I won't bother doing too much of it. They're all lighthouses, but unfortunately, they put some really nasty kind of clip art onto it for things like the wands and the swords. Let's see if I can find you one. And it kind of ruins it a little bit. So here we go. I don't know if you can see this, the wand. Can you see those wands there? So they're all identical. They look like clip art. And if I hadn't done that, I think I would absolutely really love this deck. So I'm going to try this deck for a month. And if I don't like it, and I don't get on with it, it's going. So that's how I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on 3 or 4 decks a month to see whether they need moving. So Lighthouse Tarot is one of them. Get myself turn the ring light up. The other one is the Tarot of the Cat People. Now again, this is one that I've had in my collection. This is going to be dreadful under the ring light because I think it's glossy and it's slightly kind of fuzzy, out of focus artwork. I don't think I'm going to get anything out of this at all. No. But that's the other one. Tarot of the Cat People. Oh, the backs of them are just so cute, though. Which is a really old deck. I remember when I was 15 or 16 getting into tarot. This was one of the ones that all people kind of wanted. It was in the very few tarot decks were around in catalogues and things in those days. And I remember a friend of mine when I was at college, so I was 17 or 18. She bought this tarot deck for herself. So it's been around a really long time. And I know there's a book and a story and a world that has been invented around Tarot of the Cat People. And it's just never quite gelled with me. So again, it's one of the decks that I'm going to try and use. And if not, I'm going to be moving it on. St. Ives is where all the artists live in Cornwall. Oh, I love St. Ives. And just about an hour from the nearest sea. Oh, and Sandra's off to do a deck declutter in the next few weeks. Yeah. Maruta is going a 10-minute walk from Lake Erie. Wow, that pretty much is a sea. That worked out wonderful. Oh, do take some photos. This is one I am letting go of too. Well, the lighthouse one. Do you know what? It could have been such a beautiful. We're going to try it. I'm not going to diss it. But there's a reason why I took one look at this and shoved it in a box, never to be seen again. So yeah. Yeah, look, must be fab. And I'm hoping to go there as well. For Brynwyn. Well, I'm not quite sure, Garnet, what that one's about. I don't know if I'm reading that wrong. Apologies. I'm actually helpful with the weather. It's usually cool in the summer and warm in the winter with surrounding suburbs. Oh, lovely. Oh, I like what I can see. Oh, this is my Win Abbott. Not Win Abbott. No, what's the name? Who's here? Karen. I can't read it. So she's the lady that does all the illustrations, and it's the OM trees going all the way around there. It's really big and comfy, which is quite nice. So you can see like the wheel of the year with the OM in there. And then pictures of all the trees around the outside. I might get myself, they're closing it. It's called Headingham Fair in the UK, their website. And they're closing it down to retire. I might see if I can get this one in a smaller size so it fits a bit. This is nice and comfy, but I just feel it's a bit too baggy for me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And being to Anglesey, famous burial mound, Bryn Kelly Jew. I'm murdering this. I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ange. So I'm going to end with some positives. So let's just recap. Grateful, being grateful, regular gratitude. Questioning, does something give me positivity? Does this create the greater good for me? Coming off witch talk and not being sucked into thinking I have to do everything that these people are putting out there, and feeling like because I can't do it, I am not adequate. I'm inadequate. Yeah. Morris dancing, first dance out. I'm so looking forward to learning new Morris dancing. I've got a wonderful new Morris dancing stick, which I will be sharing with you in a couple of weeks' time. Working with the seas, working with the ocean, excuse me, itchy nose, working with the powers of the moon, because obviously if anything to do with tides and water, then the moon is going to be involved. So that's something I've not normally done before. So that's going to be interesting. And that's where I think I might do my journaling. I think I'm going to journal firstly about, not regularly, but not every day, but regularly about emotions and what I feel is going on. And then I'm going to be tying it up with what moon phase we are, rather than doing it the other way. So because I always get a feeling that by the time I get to a full moon, I'm normally noticing how erratic I've become, how tired I've become, how ratty I've become, exhausted is basically it. So what I'm going to try and do is see whether actually there's any, for me, is there any physical way I can plot that? So by journaling it and then looking up the moon sign, the moon phase, I should say, it's going to be much more beneficial, because then, of course, I'm going to be working with the different tides that the moon creates. So neap tides and spring tides and other bits and pieces there. So I'm going to be making a few videos about that. I'm still going to be doing my druid ones. I might even try and tie those in together, because I'm very well aware that people did like those. And I want to do a lot more around that one there. But there are a few more decks. So one of the ones that I got recently, I actually used it last night. It's the Spellcaster's Tarot. This is the last one. I'm not going to do a flip through it now because the ring light is just rubbish. But I've been after this deck for a really long time, but I've never actually ever got around to buying it. And somebody bought it in my family for me for Christmas, which is really kind. And the moment I opened it up, I was like, wow, this is incredible. And I really, really love it. So I'm going to be doing a bit more work with the Spellcasters and with the Sirena. Plus, I have a few more nautical decks. I'm not sure I'll use my Titanic deck, actually. Probably not this year. But these are the decks that I'm going to think that I need to be working with. I've also pulled out the Old Style Tarot, which is a deck that I bought and absolutely love, but I haven't used it. So they're my main bread and butter for the year. And then I'm going to be trialing the ones, like I said, that I'm not sure about and can be, and maybe being eBayed because of it all. So that's my plan for actually work with some of these decks and get rid of or move along the ones that aren't fulfilling their potential. Let's put it that way. Just keep seeing orbs everywhere out the corner of my eye. Oh, right. There's another one. I promise you, it's not. I know there's cars going past there, but there's nothing reflecting here. So there we go. We'll talk about round barrows now. Garnet, you can go inside. It's a must. Go to West Kennet. Yes, I have been to West Kennet. Yes, I did. We went, didn't we, Sandra? And even Peter, the husband, came. Yeah, absolutely. We didn't go inside though because there was lots of flappy birds in there. Sparrows were nesting, and I'm not very good with birds in a confined space. But I love the beautiful space around there. So West Kennet is fantastic. Thank you, B. Hopefully that yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, and I'm pleased to have the chance to talk about it. And says, I find I get depressed around performance. Yeah, me too. My energies are really off. I noticed that one, but I've never actually. I put the two together, but there's no kind of, not want to say scientific fact behind it. People go, oh, it's a full moon. I go, well, that's what I'm feeling off then. But actually, I want to be a bit more specific about that. I want to write my emotions down. And just not every day, but just try and track them when there's new moons, full moons, waxing and waning, perhaps those 4 points in there, just to see what effect it's having on me. That's my plan, to keep that up for next 6 months. Garnet says, Angela's a fossilized tree inside there. Didn't know until recently. Found the inner part of a human ear. That's all. Wow, fantastic. It is a fabulous gift. Thank you. Yes, I'm very lucky to get that. But I'm also very conscious about it's another deck to add to the collection, which is why I want to get rid of stuff. I'm having a bit of a rule this year. If I'm bringing something in, whether it's a tarot deck or something else, 2 things have to go because I've got an awful lot of stuff and I want to just try and get a bit more balance and clearance back in my life. So 1 in, 2 out. That's how it's going to go. I would love to go to the Rollright Stones. Absolutely would love to do that one there. It looks exciting. Oh, go to Long Hummingbird House. Oh, Garnet, so you're telling me that, you know, like, now the thing about, actually, that probably wouldn't worry me because hummingbirds, they're a bit like moths, a bit like butterflies because they're so small but yet so fast. I don't think of hummingbirds as birds, if that makes sense, because I know they're birds. They've got wings and beaks and things like that. But to me, they're very, very small and it's almost like insects, and that's fine. But these were you go into West Kennet and it's all dark and you go in to the back and it's not far, but they were swifts. I think they were nesting. So they literally were flying out. And, you know, my head was very near the ceiling. And just the idea of being hit or a bird flying into me is enough for me not to want to go into West Kennet Barrow. So perhaps I need to go in when it's not nesting time. Narrator said I picked up the call of the Morrigan to help me deal with our incoming government. Oh, fabulous. Lol. I love it. They feel more insecty. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I didn't mind the birds always kind of, I was talking to them when I went in. Well, let's not talk about what happened to Sandra in Hastings Cave, shall we? Because that's another story. But suffice to say, we'll tell that at another time. Right. Yeah. So there we go. We are 1 hour and 10 minutes in. Thank you so much for joining me for this live. I really appreciate it. If you're watching this on playback, thank you. Thank you to everyone here. There's not going to be a live next Friday because B and I are rehearsing. But we will try and take some photos of our first dance out and I'll pop it onto the page the Facebook page for Longman Tower. I'm not going to make any videos and post it on here because I don't know whether people would feel happy about it. And plus, Derrida Border Morris do have their own YouTube and Facebook page, and I would really recommend people following us on Derrida Border Morris. I'm not sure if anyone will be able to find that and put that link in, but I'll do that later on there. So yeah, that's my plans for 2025. Watch this space, and I'm excited for some changes, and I'm just looking forward to upping the energy. Now, what I'm going to finally end on is, having said not to watch TikTok or YouTube and all that stuff, what I have done is gone on and watched my Taurus astrological forecast for 2025. And do you know what? A lot of them are all saying the same thing, is that Taurians have had it really, really bad for about 13 years, which I probably think I have to say, what with bits and pieces going on, particularly things that have affected my mental health. I think the last 10 years have been quite tricky. Well, apparently that is all about to change, and that I think it's Uranus is affecting it all. It's finally coming out. And so apparently 2025 is supposed to be a breath of fresh air for us Taurians. I have not got a clue what the rest of you are up to, I would say, but I'm just quite pleased that a lot of these videos were going, oh, it's time to kind of relax and enjoy yourself, Taurus, and you've got through it all. It's time to get back on track, and that's what I'm planning to do, and that's what these intentions in many ways are reflecting there. So there we go. Pevensey Bay, great area. Oh, you know Pevensey Bay. Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's just down the road from us. Yeah, absolutely. Maruta is afraid I didn't catch all the words to Google it. And Derrida Border Morris, I'll type it in the chat here. Excuse me, my nose is a bit blocked up. There we go. There we go. Ellie says, lovely to see you again. Enjoy your new ventures. Ellie, let's do have a catch up. I'm really aware I haven't spoken to you for a long time, so please let's have a little chat at some point there when we can. Garnet says Margate Turner's Gallop is beautiful. Yep. And B says, cannot wait to get back to our hop skipping. I think we have to go gentle. I think 2.5 weeks over Christmas of not doing it, and then yeah, it's going to be hard work. Thank you, everyone. There we go. And Gwenny says, thanks for sharing your plans with us. Love the chat and the banter. Thank you so much for being here. It's really lovely to spend time with you. Sandra says, bye, everyone. And I'm just going to check I haven't missed anyone out. There we go. At the South Coast. Oh, there you go. Maruta has put a link in. Thank you for doing that one there. So do like and subscribe. You can get some live updates of what me and B are up to if you want to, and anyone else that may be watching. Yeah, if you want to see some photos and probably some videos of you truly doing it. What can possibly go wrong? But I'm very excited to be doing it there. Right, lovely. Oh, thank you. There we go. It's all been put in there. So many thanks for joining in with us this evening, and I wish you a really happy 2025. Coming up, I have got some more rock, paper, scissors with Ali and Gerald in a couple of times, and I'm also speaking to some lovely people called Woodkeeper's Spirit who make lots of handmade wooden items, including my Morris dancing stick, which I'm going to reveal. So do look out for that one. That's around the 24th or 25th of the month, I believe. But I'll be posting it in advance there. So do look out. We're going to be doing some exciting new stuff, and I'm really excited to be sharing some different ideas and some different thoughts with you. So have a great, there we go. Ellie said, have a great weekend, everyone. I've now got to try and find, I've moved it around on StreamYard. Right, there it is. Okay. Exit video. Have a great 2025, everyone. Bye.